We on the podcast, baby.
Club Talk. Jay Brody. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. You're now listening to that Club Talk. And now, your host, Jay Brody. 1, 2, 1, 2, ha!
Okay, welcome back to another episode of Club Talk Podcast. If this is your first time watching or listening to the show, welcome. Glad to have you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more future episodes. Before we get into today's guest, who I'm excited about, this is going to be a good one. Got to shout out a couple of people real quick. Want to shout out The Reality Is, which is a dope podcast out there in Dallas, Texas. Make sure you check them out if you are a fan of unfiltered conversations. Straight, raw, right in your face. Just don't give a fuck.
Not a fuck.
Not a fuck. Not one fuck given on that podcast. Check them out. Lot of great conversations that they discuss on there. Also check out The Soul is Prismatic, which is another podcast out in New York. So like to show love to other podcasts, because as a podcaster, it's important to show love to the podcast community. And a quick recap. It's the first time I'm recording since we had the Columbus Podcast Awards. So I just want to shout out all the winners real quick who won in the second annual Columbus Podcast Awards. I'm gonna try to run down these categories real quick. Yes, super
I'll be
excited.
your sound effects in the back.
Thank you. Best Society and Culture podcast winners was the Confident Woman podcast, hosted by Rachel and what was her name? Miss Klein, I believe. Best Entrepreneur podcast, First You Hustle, which is a podcast presented by the Community College of Arts and Design, or is it College of Arts and Design?
Columbus College of Art and Design. I went to that college. Yeah, CCAD.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yes, they won. Second year in a row they won.
All right.
Best Business Podcast, Unsuitable on RE Radio. Best Comedy Podcast, Whiskey Business.
Hey.
Best Arts Podcast, The Crypto Naturalist.
All right.
Best Entertainment Podcast, Speak Easily with Krista Staffer. Best TV and Film Podcast, The Black Case Diaries. Best Places and Travel Podcast, Ohio versus the World. And two more. Best Music Podcast, It's All Been Done Before, a Bare Naked Ladies podcast.
Ooh.
And the granddaddy of them all, Podcast of the Year, went to Dead Ass Podcast.
Dead ass.
Shout out to Dead Ass Podcast, hosted by Matt and Sean. So that event was exciting. It was electric. So we're going to see y'all guys again next year. It's my honor and pleasure to organize this event, be the founder of the event.
Right.
I love it. It's exciting.
Hey.
Great times. A lot of work, but we made it happen. Okay. Oh, wait. My sponsors. Sorry. Golly, how can I forget my sponsors?
How could you? How dare? How very dare you?
I know. I got to get on it. The Flyer Agency. Hello, Black Man, and Whitehall Nutrition Lounge. Say it again. The Flyer Agency. If you are in need any graphics or any type of visuals that you need to represent your brand, website, social media, anything like that, make sure you hit up the flyeragency.com. Hello Black Man Journal. If you have any boys or girls, Hello Black Man Journal is a organization where they use the tool of journaling to express your thoughts in healthy ways.
Oh, that's
yes.
nice.
So make sure, go ahead and grab a journal, some merch at helloblackman.com. And last but not leastly, Whitehall Nutrition Lounge, right here locally in the Columbus area. If you are in Columbus and you're trying to get on your health shit, you're trying to get right, you're trying to get that summer body, whatever, beach body. That's right.
Cuffing season.
It is that season. It's upon us. So make sure if you want to get some healthy shakes, teas, things of that nature, Whitehall Nutrition Lounge right here in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, now that we got that out the way, to my RT people, I got a treat for you today. All the people like, finally, one of our own. She's representing Graffiti Art Is, which I've just learned a lot more than just a graffiti artist. Hold on, let me run down her bio. She came down here like, hold on, I just don't do the graffiti shit. Don't get it twisted. Fashion runway model, formerly internet radio personality, 20 years training lifeguards. Would you believe it? If anyone's watching on YouTube right now, and y'all are watching her, you probably are thinking the same thing that I thought. You would never look at this person and think, like, what, you trained lifeguards for 20 years?
I mean, people don't believe I'm a graffiti artist either.
I can see that too.
Yeah. So.
Oh, man. And, you know, she's doing her thing. Right now, she's on tour. The tour just getting started. She's doing big things out here with this art stuff. We're going to get into it. We got a lot to talk about. None other than Felicia is here.
Yes.
Some of you may know her as FDZ Graffiti.
Yeah.
If you've seen some of her work here in the Columbus area, you may have seen that right at the bottom of some of these murals you've probably been seeing out here. That is her. She's right here in the flesh.
Hi guys.
First of all, yes, thank you for coming on the podcast. It's exciting. I'm thrilled to have you and thrilled to just have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. And that's awesome. I mean, like, you organized the podcast awards? That's dope.
Yes.
Like, hold up, you the big man in the room over here. He's shouting out all the other podcasts. That's really dope though. I think it's I think like when it comes to like industries and media where it can be competitive, I think it's important that you have like good sportsmanship about it.
Definitely.
And it really shows, it's a credit to the quality of what you do, that you can be like, hey, these other people are dope too. You know, it's a credit to your associates as well.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it was when I thought about it, because I'm not originally from here. I'm from Philly. I'm East Coast kid.
Hey.
I'm an East Coast guy. So when I moved out here, I came out here in Columbus in 2016.
2016.
So when I came out here, you know, doing the podcast thing, whatever, I'm just like surveying the landscape, because you know when you in a certain town, you got, you know, all right, let's see whatever industry or field you're in, you survey
get the lay of the land,
right. So I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of dope podcasts out here. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, why does no one talk about this podcast scene in Columbus? Yeah. So I started researching, and I was like, let me see if there's any type of organization or event or something that highlights this. Mm-hmm. I didn't see much. I only seen one, which was the Columbus Podcast Festival, which they are no longer doing the festival anymore. Uh-huh. So I'm like,
way to go for picking up the torch, man.
I'm like, I seen the void, and I plugged that motherfucker.
You know what? I'm not going to say that. Actually, you said it's weird and said, plug that void.
That's right.
Plug it.
That's right. And
see
I
that
did.
Void and you plug it, people.
There you go. Can't be scared to take a leap of faith and just do it. So, yeah, the Columbus Podcast Awards was born. So I love it. It's fun, it's exciting to do. But enough about me.
Hey,
man, I got a lot of stuff I want to ask you and talk to you.
All right,
about.
let's get into it.
All right, so the stuff I had on here, I'm definitely going to get to, but I want to go back into this lifeguard thing that you
okay. All right,
because I was definitely not prepared for that. How does a woman like you get into training lifeguards?
Okay, so now because you're not from here,
I am definitely not.
You don't know that's like a
big
culture here. It is, and I didn't realize that
me.
Because I moved to the East Coast, and I realized that that's not a thing out there.
No.
And until I was because working in like that genre or field of work or whatever. Here, and having done it for so long here, then when I moved out to Massachusetts, I got a job at Harvard, and then I was the safety director of the Kalahari and the Poconos and stuff like that. And people would look at me like I had 3 heads because they're like, okay, first of all, you're black. Second of all, you're a black woman. And not only are you the minority in this department, you're in charge. And so I caught a whole bunch of sweat out there because people just thought it was really rare. Now here, let me explain to you why it's such a common factor here.
Yes.
I believe it was back in like the 60s or the 70s. Every single community center had a swimming pool.
Okay.
And the programs are free. The swim lessons are free. The competitive swim is free. So we have this subculture of urban communities that have this, these programs in place. So everybody knows how to swim. That's what I did every summer, every day. So you just enjoyed
swimming. That was already
that's what I did every single day. If I could take it to the streets, if I can get all the way real world with you, okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell. This might show y'all my age a little bit for those of y'all who know. When you could break a food stamp back in the day, okay? You break a food stamp and you take your quarter and you go swimming. All right, did that because my parents had, we weren't very wealthy. Okay. We were kind of like lower middle class, working class, Yeah. And for 2 working parents who have 4 kids, we had to do something. They couldn't afford to pay for daycare or summer
Signing
camp.
Y'all up for camps.
Look, we would go. You go get your free lunch. You go to the corner store, you get your little snacks, and you swim all day. That's what I did my entire childhood.
Now, did you swim competitively too?
I did.
So you a beast.
I'm a beast. I used to coach. So I've coached swimming. I've coached diving. I've taught water aerobics. I've trained lifeguards.
Wow.
And then I also have a CPO, which is a commercial pool operator's license. So that means that I also do like all the chemistry and all the like everything. From the top to the bottom.
What?
I was on when I was at the Poconos, I actually got to be on the construction side of like their second phase. My whole job there was to train 300 lifeguards for their phase 2 because that is now the largest indoor water park in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So.
Shit, Felicia. Damn.
But that's not, I don't even do that anymore because I kind of like, I felt like I hit the ceiling there. Like, all right, this is as high as I'm going to go. And, there's not really a lot of money in this. And it's not really what I'm passionate about.
I was about to ask that, like, what, because that's something that I've never even thought, like, to just, like, look at that industry. Like, how much is this filmmaker? Like, what? So,
I mean, it's like, if you were managing a Best Buy or something, I don't know. It's not that impressive, to be honest with you.
It's not that impressive.
It's really not. It's like I know that it's rare because I'm doing it, but honestly, I could have been like managing a Burger King for all that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But you enjoyed it. It was like it's like one of your passions.
It went from something what I enjoy is there's a very therapeutic aspect to water. And when you take someone into the water, and this is where I'm going to get kind of spiritual about this.
Let's do it.
I'm not like a super religious person, but I'm a realist.
Do you have the sage at home?
No.
Okay.
I go to the water.
Yes.
But it's kind of like the root of baptism, right?
Okay.
And it's about washing away fear. And so if you reference that to when you're teaching someone to float on their back, they have to become fearless. They have to let go in order for them to float. And once you help someone get over that, whether they're an infant or an adult, it really changes the way people think because it helps them process fear. So it's kind of like I have to teach them ways to kind of deal with the fear of the situation in order for them to be able to deal with it. And I've seen kids, especially in children, you see their personalities change. And I've worked with urban, like inner city kids, and I've worked with suburban kids as well. Okay. And it's taught me a lot about like human nature.
Probably a drastic difference.
No.
Really?
The funny thing is, I'll tell you what's wrong with the world.
Black folk don't fuck with no goddamn water.
Well, Look,
as far as where I come from,
a bratty rich kid don't either. I mean, to be honest.
So there's not much difference there.
Well, I tell you what's wrong with this society.
Yes,
is people are either overindulging or underindulging their children. And that's what because a lot of times I ended up dealing with kids who had like behavioral issues.
Okay.
And they would either be kind of like abused with fear, or they're so coddled that they never actually face it. And so what happens is the common factor is when we're in the water, you have to you got to deal with it, right? And it changes their personality because it's kind of like whatever was sending you like off kilter in one way or another, it balances you. So that's where I feel like the spiritual aspect is like tying that into like, this is the root of baptism. This is the whole thing about like, first of all, you have to trust me with your life, and it's a legitimate fear. Like people,
I say that it sounds very daunting.
It is, but it's taught me a lot about like human nature and to be patient with people because we're all children in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Wow, man. Wow. Okay, so you do this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So the pandemic happens.
Okay,
we were kind of
yes.
So we were talking off air before we started recording. Well, wait, we gotta reverse.
Okay.
The graffiti.
Right.
So now here's what I'm thinking. You had to be very strange as a kid, because here's what I thought. Here's what I'm thinking. Like in preparing for this conversation with you, I just started thinking about all the artsy people I know, and they were always left, just completely different individuals. So I'm pretty sure she probably was like one of those kids who probably everybody thought she was a weirdo. She's probably off doing her own thing, just. Like that's just Felicia. Just like,
yeah.
Were you one of those kids?
I was very much isolated. I feel like I was kind of like the ugly duckling.
The ugly duckling.
To be honest, like, cause I was like.
You're one of four. Are you oldest, middle?
I'm the middle child.
Middle, okay.
And even when you add, because you know how we are with black families, like everybody's got step siblings, and when your parents got divorced, I'm still in the middle. No matter how you cut it, no matter who you count, I'm still in the middle. I'm just like I am the middle child. Period.
You reference yourself as the ugly duckling.
I was the ugly duckling. So like I said, we grew up poor. I was kind of like nappy headed, wearing like charity newsy clothes and stuff like that. We were also Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not anymore. No. That stopped when I was like 12 or something. I don't know. But that was like a level of isolation. I was just kind of like, I was just solo dolo. Like I'd rather be indoors drawing or doing something like.
I knew it.
I was definitely like.
Just off in your own world.
Off in my own world. We moved a lot, like, so I just didn't really like attach myself to other people's.
Did you not fit in?
Of me. I didn't want to. I didn't care to. And then the other thing was I was a realist because it started off with Santa Claus. Like in kindergarten, I was that kid that would kill your Santa Claus dreams because I was out there telling you the truth. Like, Santa Claus don't exist, right?
Oh,
like, I'm going to go ahead and smash your Christmas cookies real quick and let you know. Because, I grew up.
You didn't buy into the whole Easter Bunny.
No, like, you got to understand, like, how that makes you a savage as a child. Where it's like, you don't get all of these, if you're good, you get Christmas stuff. Like, no, this is real life.
Yeah. So you was kind of cold in some sense.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Because it's like at the same time, it's like I didn't fit in. I was a tomboy.
Oh man, climbing trees, roughhousing with the boys and shit.
Exactly. I've always been like very athletic. I was just talking to somebody. I feel like I was the last generation of like the true tomboys. Because it's like you're still very feminine. It's like you're tomboyish but not sexually that way.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to knock any
Right.
I don't want to knock anybody's sexuality or anything. I'm just telling you what my experience is.
For sure.
And so, you know, of that era, I mean, you think of like TLC and Aaliyah, where they were wearing like the baggy pants.
Let's say, did you do the whole?
Oh man, yeah. And I had a 6-pack. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing.
Man.
You couldn't tell me nothing. I was in there like middle school. I was doing crunches and stuff. It was just like
You was really
yeah,
tomboy.
I was for real. I was the
sports.
only girl on the court. That's who I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
You was one of the homies.
Yeah. Bowling on these jokers. Hey, no.
Nice. So let's get into, when did you pick up a pen, a pencil, and start like
drawing?
How did that like? Because for anyone who's watching, if you haven't seen her work, if you've seen it, it's noticeable. It catches your eye. Yeah. It's very abstract. Mm-hmm. It's very like the colors. It's massive. like your work is something you just came like, oh, that's cool. Like you're going to like look at this and try to like figure it out. Yeah. Like I found myself looking at your work and I'm just like looking at it trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like
it's like an ink blot test.
Yeah. Like I'm like, okay, where did she start with this? What was the thought process? What was, because you know we're gonna talk about that later on as we go on. But I found myself just in this little kind of like a trance thing when I'm looking at some of your pieces. But so how did you get into, where did the love of art start for you?
I think the love of art started in isolation, and honestly I think it started from my mom's handwriting. I was fascinated by her cursive, and so you have to understand, like, let me just talk about the religion of being a Jehovah's Witness.
Please.
It's very boring. It's very boring. To let you guys know just a little tidbit of the history, it was started. It's Christianity, because some people don't know that. It is a sect of Christianity, but is the American Christianity. So you think of Amish people.
Okay.
And Jehovah's Witnesses are like two religions that started here in America. Yeah. And so, like I said, it's dry, it's boring. So I would read a lot.
Okay.
And it was very quiet when you had to be. It wasn't like, man, that's why I love gospel music. Because when on the other side, on my dad's side of the family, there were a lot of gospel musicians, and I love me. I'm like, oh, church is jumping.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, man, ours is all him, Lord. Like, just like, oh my God. So, literally. But I would draw, and I would write.
So out of boredom.
Out of isolation, I would pick up a pen and I would mimic my mother's handwriting. Yeah. And I'm talking like, this is like 2-3 years old when I started.
You can remember as early as that.
Yes. Wow. My memory is terrible now because apparently I used it up when I was a toddler.
Can't remember shit now.
I can't remember nothing. I can't remember what I just did. I don't remember what I'm talking about.
your early stages of doodling.
So there was that, and then
2-3 years old, huh?
2-3 years old. But then so then we go to fashion, right? So my mother was really an artist. Everybody in my family is an artist in some kind of way or another. Yeah. And my mom taught me to sew when I was in kindergarten. Damn. So that's like a family trade, and that was also like a part of the like religious experiences, because even though we were poor, my best clothes were couture. Because I got to design my dresses that I wore on Sunday. We would go to the fabric store, we flipped through a little fabric book, and I would pick out the material and everything. So I was very proud of the things that I made. Yeah. And so I'd make clothes for my Barbies, or I would draw things, or I'd cut things out of magazines and stuff like that. And then when I got to be in the 2nd grade, this is where graffiti started for me. Right? I realized that, people enjoy my artwork. We had an assignment where we had to draw verbs, and specifically the word gooey. So I drew it so that the word looked gooey, and my teacher was so impressed, and everybody was so impressed, and it was just like, oh wow, I'm like, oh, I'm good at this. And my parents always really encouraged me to be an artist, and so that was kind of like, it just kind of flourished from there. It really was just like one of the few things that I was really confident in.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question too. Like when you said, you know, your parents, you know, supported you with that. Like, because I'm thinking, like, where I come from, and, you know, like, how I grew up is that you keep shit like that to yourself. Like, you're out here telling people you drawing and shit. Like, my cousin who I was telling you about, the artwork that you seen, his stuff. Shout out to E.
Hey.
But as of late, he's like dove into it. So, like, he's making money off of it now. But early on, like, this is shit that, like, you just kept to yourself because you was looked at like as the weirdo. Like, you got picked on, or like, yo, you take your book, rip your shit up, like it's crazy.
Okay.
So, cause I wanted to, like, I wasn't sure if that was like the same, like, for you. Like, did you ever have moments like where you was like, I don't want to show no one my stuff yet? Like, would you kind of like closed off with it, like, because you wasn't sure about the reception?
I was
everybody
very,
look at it.
I was very proud, and
Okay.
it because I was very. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was good. I like the first time I had my artwork showcased, I was in the 4th grade.
Really?
Yeah, I was a child artist.
Wow.
Like, my teachers, the issue that I had is, like, my teachers would steal my artwork and they put it in the display cases, and they would keep it there. Yeah. And so when I was in the 4th grade, that's when I really realized, like, okay, I'm an artist. I met Amina Robinson.
Who's this?
Because you're not from here. You don't know Amina Robinson. Somebody needs to let him know. You need to go to the art museum. Amina Robinson is like legendary, internationally known artist. You ever been to the main library?
I've been to one library here.
Did you go to the main library?
I have not. Is that the one on?
It's downtown.
Oh, okay, no.
Okay, anyways.
I went to a different one.
It's okay. I'm going to send you some things to look up.
It's a lot. I got bourbon, libraries.
Yeah, it's okay. You down here doing the podcast thing. I got it. We bring this to you. Yeah. I'm bringing you a platter of art and culture and local information.
Yes.
But I met Amina Robinson, who is a Black woman artist.
Uh-huh.
She just did a children's book. She just painted a mural at the library. So, like, seeing her made it like a real experience. It made me see, like, oh, this is who I could be. And so that's part of the reason why I'm doing the school tour is because I remember how that directly influenced me. I also had a great mentor at J. Ashburn Recreation Center. Shout out to J. Ashburn Recreation Center. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, damn.
Or at least the one I went to. They may have, like, moved it to another location.
Okay.
But that building is gone.
Oh.
But I had a really great mentor. And over the years, it was really about my teachers. Like, I just had some really cool art teachers. Like, they saw something in me and they would encourage me. And then they would put me in, like, these different student exhibitions and
so you had a bunch of love and support around this. Yeah.
But I felt like that was the only thing. That and being athletic. I got good grades. I was good at art, and I was athletic. And so I am an overachiever.
Yes.
So I dove into those things, and that was just like the root of all of this. It just started then.
But the truth is, didn't you want to be a fashion designer first? Mm-hmm. So how, like, did you wrestle with those, like one foot in, one foot out type thing? Was you still trying to pursue the fashion design thing?
So here's the thing that's funny about that.
Yes.
Right? Graffiti art was not my intention. That was not my intention. I'm like, I'm going to be a fine artist. I'm going to get an A at this. I'm going to, it was like, I was still trying. I wasn't discovering, like, the essence of myself creatively. I was being very technical about it. And so if you know, like you said, you talk about my artwork now, it's like, it's abstract, it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's fun, it makes you feel something. Yeah. Where I used to paint or try to draw things very observational, because, like I said, I had my art education started a long time ago. Like, some people didn't start learning about, I don't know, like my first job, I was a graphic designer. At the Shortside Recreation Center. I was silkscreen t-shirts, and I do, like, all the graphic designs and stuff like that. So I got a lot of exposure early on because my mentors saw that I was, like, this talented kid. So I did struggle with that. And it did kind of make me mad a little bit when people would be more drawn to this messy, informal graffiti art. Right. Where I'm like, no, I'm trying to be like
this is what I want to do. Yeah,
art school graduate. Look at this oil painting I did. And they're like, yeah, okay, but what's up with that? What's that on the floor? Like, you know, what
right?
I'm saying?
It's on the floor for a reason. Just don't pay that. Like this over here, they're like, no, but that.
No, but that. Yeah, my art was like all over the place. I think because over the years you kind of go through these evolutions, and once you stop resisting it, and you kind of like fall into what is coming out of you naturally. Like, yeah, I could force myself to do classical artwork, but that wasn't my culture. That wasn't like an essence of like who I was, you know. So that definitely was like a journey and kind of like this inner turmoil. But 360, here I am coming back to fashion design again. How about that?
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Just like, you know, like you think that you're meant to do a certain thing, and like you're like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to do this, but then you just find yourself like, no, like it's going this way.
Yeah.
I guess that's
what the universe is like. Man, it keeps knocking over there. Like I'm trying to be like, okay, that's cool. I'll do that sometimes. But this, no, that. Yeah. But the real root of that was from me doing the Hip Hop Expo, which I think is really dope that you're doing the podcast awards.
Oh yeah,
because this was like, well, they have a Hip Hop Awards, but the Hip Hop Expo was like a way of showcasing local artists, dancers, rap artists, DJs, everything.
Dope.
And so I was on stage for 10 years. Painting the background mural. I was like the official graffiti artist of the Hip Hop Expo, which was huge because I wasn't good at it. I'll be honest with you.
At that time,
and I think even still, I don't feel like I'm quote unquote good at it. But I think as an artist, you're always in that space of like being
talk about that
self-critical.
Too.
Yeah, right.
I got that down.
But the evolution happened on stage, which was really dope. That's where FDZ came from. Actually, spoken word. I didn't even tell you that I used to do that. Spoken word.
Don't worry, we gonna talk about it because we gonna take a break. We gonna talk a lot. We got a lot to talk about. If you enjoyed the podcast so far, make sure you go ahead, drop a comment, like, subscribe, follow. Before we take this break, Felicia, let them know where they can find you, follow you, connect with you, all that good stuff. Go ahead and just plug away.
All right, so you guys can find me on FDZ Graffiti. A lot of people don't know how to spell graffiti, and it's 2 F's, 1 T. So once you type in FDZ, you'll be able to find me.
Yes.
Or FDZG. You can find me.
Yes.
But if you want to type the whole thing in, like if you're going to my website, fdzgraffiti.com. Graffiti is spelled GRAFFITI.com. FDZ Graffiti on Instagram.
Yes.
FDZ Graffiti on TikTok. FDZ Graffiti on some other platforms I don't even use, but I did it. I signed up anyways just to hold it down. Like I think I have a Twitter, but I never use it.
So I have to keep up with all the social
I just didn't want nobody out there fronting acting like they me. You know what I'm saying?
There's only one FDZ, goddammit.
FDZ, y'all. So that's where you guys can find me. And yeah, so the next event that's gonna be coming up is 934 Fest, and then we're also going to be doing the aficionados event at Bud Dairy, which is going to be September 22nd.
Hey.
I'm also going to be going down to the Cigar Week in Atlanta, starting at the She Smokes 2 event, which is going to be on a Thursday, I believe.
Man, y'all tap in with Felicia, man. How can you not tap in with this energy? You know, energy, it rubs off. It's radiant. You know, you attach yourself to certain people and you get a little bit of that. You know, so make sure y'all go ahead and follow her. We're going to take a quick break. We're not going anywhere, though. We just go to... I'm so sorry. To all my artists out there, my musical artists, if you wanted to submit... if you would like to submit music, go ahead and send that to clothtalk5@gmail.com to get your music played right here on the podcast. So, yeah, all my artists, go ahead and submit your music right there. Make sure when you submit, please put name of the song, name of artist, and your contact info so I can share it. All right. We'll be right back here on Cloth Talk Podcast. Don't go nowhere.
Touch this beach with me, baby. Come be free with me, baby. What you need from me, baby, I'm gon' see to it, baby. Touch this beach with me, baby. Come be free with me, baby. What you need from me, baby, I'm gon' see to it, baby. Hope it ain't just been longer, hoping we're stronger. If only for one night, I never want for a tomorrow. I know it's tough to be my beacon through the sorrow. Time on my mind makes you whine like Bordeaux. Broadening horizons, I don't see the border no more. My love for you like Lizzie, who else holds you down like Gordo? Orders of the hors d'oeuvres and champagne are in order. If you blessed enough to have you a woman that's that supportive, I hope I feed a fire as a source to keep her glowing, not all knowing. In times before when arrows was more foreign, explored it in the hope to come out all the better for it. If life is but a dream, it was too real to ignore it. My daughter's a reflection of the woman that's before her. Precious moments make me consider. I want more of them, focused on the forward and the future. I pour for them, growing them up. Part of the sorrows of growing up. Time borrowed, that's why I just can't get enough of you. My crippling addiction is your touch. There's a you and a me. There's a we and a us. But if that level of trust just isn't enough, then what? Touch this beach with me, baby. Come be free with me, baby. What you need from me, baby, I'm gon' see to it, baby.
All right, and just like that, we are back right here on Cloth Talk Podcast. Felicia, aka FDZ, is still here, dropping off all his good energy, all his creative energy. You know what's weird about, like, not weird, but it's something unique about creative people, like arty people. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this, like, for some reason, like, I've noticed, and this is a theory I have, like, well, before I get to my theory, I'll tell you how this first, then I'll get to my theory. With creative people, when I'm around y'all, I feel stupid and small. Here's why. Y'all see the world so differently. Like, y'all see shit a completely different way. Like, and when, like, you are around these type of people and they express it and you see their expression of the world, it makes you feel like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, how do you see the world like that? It makes you feel small and stupid in a sense.
Well, it's like
not in a down way, but like, it's like, damn, what the fuck am I doing? It's like, y'all see the world completely. But it's like,
it's a blessing
different.
And a curse though. Cause it's like, it can be treacherous. It can be like torturing your own soul because you may be like very detail oriented, or you may be the opposite where you want to kind of like dismantle things. So there seems to be kind of like this compulsive intent behind it. Like you see things very detailed, or you get lost. Like, you know, I used to daydream a lot. And it's funny that you say that you might feel like dumb or small or something like that, because that's how I felt as a child. Really? Because if you were adrift, like if you're just kind of like staring off into space and you're supposed to be paying attention, and you might get like smacked upside your head or something, and it's like, hey, hello, I'm trying to talk to you. Like, oh, you got your head in the clouds, and you know, but
it's weird. I just feel that way around creative people. Like, y'all just have this. It's a very big presence. Like, I don't think y'all understand like how it bounces off or radiates, but it's like, damn, yo, like they're so like just their mindset and their thoughts are just different. Like, yo, like,
you can't see yourself the way that the other people do. You know.
Do you feel that way though? Do you feel like there's? Because here's my theory going into that. So I believe that only creatives can relate and understand each other.
It is like another language.
I see.
It is. It definitely is like speaking another language, because but it's like when I'm around people and they're talking about football. I love football. but I don't know who this person is. I don't know who that coach was. You know, I still think that that Jim Tressel is the coach of the Buckeyes, and I'm a Buckeye fan.
You know, can't rattle off stats and stuff.
No, like that was the one thing back in the day when I was on the internet radio. It's like the only time I would shut up is when they were talking about sports. It's like I wasn't even in the room.
In a sports segment. Like,
and it wasn't like video recorded. It was all audio. So it's like when I could have just left.
Go team.
I would just be in there like, wow, what? Word.
But it's definitely a coded language. Y'all have your own.
Yeah.
Like, it's unique because I remember like being in high school, and high school is very cliquish. Mm-hmm. You got your group of jocks over there. Right. You got the weirdos over there. You got the geeks over there. Mm-hmm. And then you got the artsy people over there. Right. And you got band members over there and shit, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the artsy people they all look different. Mm-hmm. They do different shit, but they get it. They understand each other. They get it. But no one else can get them.
Well, here's the funny thing. Okay, so we're talking about high school. Yeah. I would float around.
You can bounce.
I would float around on a table. So it's like I could be everywhere and nowhere. I fit everywhere and nowhere. And I'm still like that. Yeah. Like, but I embrace it. I'm I'm a very social person, but I'm kind of introverted. So I like to go places by myself. But I know everybody that's there.
I just went to the movies by myself.
Good times, right? Especially in the middle of the day. And if you go to the what's that one in Worthington? Anyways, you can get like free popcorn on Tuesdays if you're a member. I used to do that all the time. But I think it's healthy to be able, it's just like you should, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. You also need to be happy being alone. Like if we're talking about like relationships, you need to be okay with yourself and not expect somebody else to fix you. And also I have this mentality where it's like, yes, I'm a diva, but at the same time I kind of like quote unquote think like a man. But it's so having that like duality, I don't really fit in anywhere. Because also some people when it came to like art school, there were people who were trying to be an artist and they were fronting.
Y'all can spot the real, like, who really do this.
Because they're like, oh, I'm just being weird and I'm gonna, I don't know. Yeah. What was some weird stuff that people used to do back in the day? Like, I'm gonna wear 2 different color contacts and have my hair blue and
shave one eyebrow off.
But it was more about like the things that they would say as opposed to the things that they would do. Yeah. Like I remember this girl was talking about being a vegetarian, but she ate fish. And I'm like, honey, you're not a vegetarian. And so this also goes back to me smashing people's Christmas cookies, right? Right. I was also killing people's fake ass art dreams because it's like, you're not an artist, honey. You just don't know who you are. Like there's this one black girl. I remember she put like this big black anarchy on her face. And I'm like, do you even know what that means? She didn't know what it meant. And I'm like, why are you're putting symbols on your face? Yeah. On your face, sister, black girl. Yeah. And you don't even know what it means because you're trying to be accepted by this crowd because you want to be right. You're choosing a clique. Yeah. And so it's funny how people would like go out and get like these tattoos and stuff. It's like, oh, I'm going to be unique by being just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go get a tramp stamp. This is like, and everybody would get the tramp stamp.
Oh yeah, remember those?
Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, by the way. I know that's also
me neither. I don't have none. I
know that's also like rare because I've designed people's tattoos and people have asked me like, oh, you should be a tattoo artist, and it's like I don't think anybody would trust me. I'll be honest, I wouldn't trust a tattoo artist who didn't have any tattoos. Like. I don't know.
Yeah, like, you sure you want me to do that?
Right. Would you trust a dentist with jacked up teeth? No. I don't think so.
I'm going to go get another recommendation.
Right.
I appreciate the time, though.
Dentists be like, all right. Yeah. I'm going to help you out today. You're going to like, ooh, you got halitosis? You don't have a solution for that? You ain't no trials, huh? Don't give me free samples. Nothing?
I actually forgot my card, my insurance card to pay for this.
You know what, man? You hear that? I got my dog. I got a cat. I think. Just trying to find an excuse to leave.
Yes. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first piece?
My first piece? Mm-hmm. Like my first piece of artwork?
Yeah. Very, very first one.
That's hard to say. I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, the first thing I ever drew?
Yep. Like
in a sketchbook?
Whatever it was.
No. There's that. Like, people ask me, like, because here's the thing. I'm an authentic, actual artist.
Yes.
Like, I have the whole artist journey. There's purpose behind what I do. It's not there, and there's a difference between artists and merchants.
Break it down for us.
A merchant is a creative. They could be a creative person, but let's say, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Like whoever designed the Nike swoosh.
Okay,
let's say that I made the Nike swoosh, and all I do is Nike swooshes in different colors. I do the same picture over and over and over again, but I do Nike swoosh t-shirts and cup holders and pillows and socks.
Different variations of the same thing.
Right, it's a product. You're creating a product. Doesn't have anything to do with the journey, a struggle. There's no evolution there. There's nothing that's necessarily thought-provoking. It's just like, oh, this is nice. I can buy this keychain. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Van Gogh wasn't making no keychains. Jean-Michel Basquiat wasn't making no cup holders.
I see what you're
saying.
Know
what I'm saying?
I got you.
See, everybody knows the painting Starry Night, Van Gogh, or you see the Andy Warhol pieces. But when that artist was living and making art, they were not creating merchandise.
I see.
And there's a really interesting documentary on Bob Ross. Everybody knows Bob Ross.
Okay, yes.
White guy with the afro, right?
Yep.
All that merchandise, that's not his. It was the people who had contracted with him to create the show. After he passed away, they bought his name, and now they're making all of this merchandise.
Oh shit!
Because what does a chia pet have to do with him painting happy little trees? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's like the difference between a merchant and an artist. Like, an artist is like Banksy. Banksy is a great example.
Yeah.
Where they would do things that was also like thought provoking. Or Cindy Sherman, her artwork is really weird. But it's provoking. It's provocative. I would never buy a cup with her artwork on it. But I will go see it though. It's crazy, and you have to look her up because her artwork is like weird. It's weird, and it's gross.
Yeah.
It's not like it. And some of this stuff is nothing that you can buy and hang. Like when you go to a museum and it's an installation.
Yeah. You're
walking through it. You can't take that home with you, because what it is that the artist is creating an experience for you. They're sharing an experience. Yeah. And so that's like the difference between like an artist and a merchant.
Nice.
So I forgot where I came from with that. I think you asked me what was my first piece.
Okay, switch gears with that.
All right.
Because obviously, like,
I went on a rant.
No.
Where I am.
I thought of a better question now. Do you believe, like, because you just when you were explaining that, it made me think of this. Now, do you believe that? And I've been told this by other artists too. That when an artist creates something, it's no longer yours once you put it out. True?
Once you put it out?
It's no longer yours. It doesn't belong to the artist no more. I've been told this.
I think that whoever said that was that particular person's expression. I don't think that generally suits everybody.
I've been told this by multitudes of artists though. But I've never spoken to an artist who do what you do.
Okay, so I think that's like, I call my art babies. They're my babies, right? I can't, because people say, do you have a favorite? No, that's hard. That's like choosing a favorite child. You can't. Yeah. But here's the thing. Your child is an individual. Okay? And so I can understand why people would say that, because I may have painted something with my own personal intention, but the world sees it differently.
So it's no longer yours.
In that way. Because it's now you've put it out to the world so that the world can interact with it. And then that now it's theirs. So I have in my art, they have like these empty thought bubbles. This is a good example of like, this is yours.
Yeah.
Because everybody sees it and they're like, well, what are you going to write in there? It's like, well, that's for you to decide. Because it's an open-ended question. When you see an empty thought bubble, you instinctively want something to be there. So if you take a moment, you're going to put something in that. So that is, in a way, it is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
And it's essentially that my whole purpose behind the empty thought bubbles, it's about self-reflection. It's about checking in within. Check within yourself. And it's also about shut up and say something. Like, so before you speak, think about what you want to say. And I'm also not going to tell you what to say. I'm not going to tell you what to think. So as I've gotten more into that, my art has become less distinct. And in that way, it's more abstract. So when you look at it, you feel something. Yeah. But I'm not particularly telling you what to feel. Yeah. So in that way, yeah, I guess you do. You like give it to the world. Yeah. Yeah.
But you look at them all as your little babies.
They're my babies. My art babies. Yeah.
What's the longest you ever spent on working on a piece?
One painting? Yeah. 5 years. The Henna Queen. Huh? There's a painting the Henna Queen.
5
years. 5 years. And that painting.
Where's this painting at today?
It's on a scroll. It's in my studio right now. But there is a crazy story attached to that.
Why 5 years? Give it the whole backstory.
Okay, first of all,
what inspired this?
It's the painting is that big. It's a
big as this backdrop here?
It was the biggest painting at that time that I'd ever done, and it's very detailed because henna, like the designs on your hand. Yep. So there was all these details in her afro, and I was living like in subsidized housing, so I didn't have a studio. And I also realized that when I was in like toxic relationships with people, friends or boyfriends, I wouldn't create. So there was a time period, and there were time periods during that where I had these moments of voids, and because people were like sucking my life, were like sucking my soul out. So I wasn't in a happy space, and so I wasn't creating. Right. Which also comes back to check in within, and you should be okay by yourself. It's okay to be alone if you're happy, and if you're not happy alone, you need to spend some time alone and answer those questions. So that's why it took me that long. It's not like I was working on it consistently. Yeah. It did take a lot of time, but if I was in a clear headspace, I probably could have done that painting in, a matter of months, as opposed to a matter of years.
5 years.
Yeah. And once again, this was something that I was like forcing out of myself. It wasn't art that would like naturally flow. There are some paintings I started years ago that I still haven't finished.
To this day.
Till this day.
Wow.
There's
like
probably.
We talk about a lot? 4, 5, 6, 20?
How many paintings?
Yeah, that's unfinished.
No, I think there's like 2 specifically.
So most of everything you start, you complete.
Yeah. Now I do.
Okay.
But if you looked at some of my old art, which I don't post any of it because it doesn't look anything like what I paint now. No, I was painting kind of like, I don't want to say cliche, but I think stereotypically what you would expect a black female artist to paint.
Got you.
Right.
Yeah. Black love, black power.
Black love, black power,
strong black woman.
Strong black woman. Yeah, but it was just like, this is what I'm doing, what people are expecting me to do, and not what is in essence coming from within me. And I think that's why my art is kind of like surprising.
It is.
Because people expect, oh, you look like this, you probably paint like this. Right. And I'm not knocking people who do that. I know some lady artists who are associates of mine that paint very beautiful, like Black is Beautiful work, like Nikki Burton. Ludi is another artist.
I love the education I'm getting right now.
Oh God, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna mess up somebody's name. But there are some ladies I've done work with. Oh, Exantha is another one. And their art is beautiful. And I did a collective show with them, and I think Dana was another one of the artists. And in that particular show, I did put like a Black and Beautiful painting I did of myself, but it was also from like 2008.
Oh, okay.
So, but I just don't paint like that anymore. And that's just me. Everybody has their own journey and essence of who they are and whatever. But I think my art is unique because I have a unique approach and unique background. Yeah. And stuff like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, now perfect segue to the next question. You are in, who you are, what you represent, and the space that you're in is rare. Mm-hmm. The type of person you are. Well, we was talking about it earlier. Black woman. You're in an industry or aka field that is, it's not a lot of you. Yeah. Very little of you represented in this space that you're in. Mm-hmm. Have you dealt with any type of like backlash because of that?
No.
Like, or is it like, oh shit?
I think it's been a total embrace.
Really?
Because people love to see you in the room. They're like, oh yeah, and especially when, I think that's the cool thing about art is that it speaks for you. You don't have to say anything. You can just stand there next to your artwork and people nod like, yeah. All right, I see you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's no, I haven't got any backlash. Quite the opposite. I've had a lot of opportunities.
Wow.
I've had a lot of support, a lot of embracing, and no, not at all. I love it. It's been great. As opposed to like when we were talking about in aquatics, like yeah, there was major backlash there because people were like,
right.
You know. So I would say no. I think that people appreciate the diversity because we're artists. Like you're talking about in the realm of art, people want diversity, people want variety.
Right.
So in this era, like right now, this is what's popping. Like I sincerely believe 500 years from now, the art that is going to be representative of this time period is going to be graffiti pop art.
Really?
Sincerely, because it's like there are people who are going to be painting realism, but realism, this isn't an era. That's not. It's like realism is okay. Michelangelo, they're going to look at realism like that. You know, Impressionists, well, they're going to be looking at Van Gogh and Monet. You know, and pop art is going to be Andy Warhol. You know, you know, you have like this abstract, funky thing that Jean-Michel Basquiat did, but we're also getting closer to my generation, right? We're getting close. That in comparison with all of this street art, and especially with like the whole Black Lives Matter movement this year. Yep. This whole pandemic thing, what's happening right now, between a pandemic and this race war that's going on, like all the art that's surrounding that is going to be huge. It's going to be studied. People are going to be looking into that. Like, what were people saying? What was literally the writing on the walls? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah.
What's that saying that they said art is a reflection of the time period that you're in?
Absolutely. And once I really started to lean into that, people really started to appreciate it. There's a documentary that I did with Broad and High, which was WSU.
Hey, now.
You guys can look me up on YouTube, FDZ WSU.
Watch out here. She modest, but she big time low key.
I'm a low key. I'm a little key.
Little key, big time.
I got the little key to the big time. I'm just turning that lock.
I love it.
But yeah, like in that documentary, I talk about that. So you guys can kind of like see the journey that I went on and sort of like this evolution and stuff that I went through to like arrive in this space.
Yeah. What's the name of the documentary again?
There's a series.
Okay.
It's on WSU. It's on PBS. You can actually watch it on TV.
Hey now.
And you can find it on YouTube. So you can just look up FDZ WSU. Yeah. Or they cover a lot of other artists. I'm not just going to be over here just shouting out myself. Yeah. But you can just look up Broad and High. And if you're an artist out there, you can reach out to them. They found me. I'm not really sure like how they choose the artist.
They reached out to you.
They reached out to me. Yeah. I think it was through GCAC. I had an art show that was in a gallery there, the Greater Columbus Art Council. Yeah. And they reached out to me. So there's a lot of other artists. And when they did that segment, I wasn't the only artist on that segment. I was just the first featured artists.
Nice.
But if you want to just watch my segment, it's only a 6-minute video.
Oh, okay.
So you
cool.
can just look up FDZ WSU.
Yeah.
And it'll pop up. You see one of my little dead can characters that I make. And yeah.
Nice. Those dope too. I like those.
You know, I should have brought them. That would have been cool. I could have had them like sitting here on the couch with me.
Right. They part of the podcast.
Yeah. I think I'll have to do that for like next time. I'll bring them in.
Yeah. Is it you know, like us staying on this topic of, you know, like there's not a lot of you representing the space that you are in. Mm-hmm. Do you look at that as like, I'm sure you wish there was more, but when you kind of look at it, because I'm thinking like, why isn't there more, you know, black women who do what you do? There probably are and is, but we probably don't know.
We seem to be kind of spread out.
Okay. Like,
even when it comes to murals, let's just speak on murals.
Yes.
Okay. There are other ladies out there, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't speak to anybody else's journey as to where they are in their careers or what their preferences are. But I can tell you that what I do is really hard and it's dangerous. Like, I'm climbing scaffolding, I'm lifting things. Like, it's physically.
You're not just there with a little brush.
No, it ain't cute. It ain't cute. I got paint on me right now.
Yeah, y'all can't tell right now, but on her leg there's specks of paint.
Right, because it's like spray paint don't come off so easily. I mean, like, I'd have to like hurt myself to get it off. So it's like,
this is not for the pretty girl.
It's not. Yeah. So that's
not now.
That's why I said, like, I'm a diva, but I'm a tomboy, but I'm athletic. So I think that's a huge aspect.
You gotta be a certain type of woman.
You gotta be a certain type of woman. You gotta be somebody kind of like me, because I mean, I'm
not afraid to get dirty.
I'm not afraid of heights, because I think that's an aspect of it too.
You're going up high because you gotta get.
I'm climbing on scaffolding. Man, this next project I'm doing, I'm going to be on a scaffold on a spiral staircase. Okay, it takes nerve. I got nerve. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of fearless. No, I'm just telling y'all. I'm just telling you.
You're not afraid.
I'm not afraid. I ain't scared.
Jeez.
But I think that's a component of it. Not to say that, I mean, because I see other ladies out there, and I see other black women out there who are doing murals. Like April Tsunami's doing a lot of murals around the city. We did a show way back in the day. It's the dopest name. It was Sykinuelik.
Wow.
Sykinuelik.
What a word.
So April, I believe her husband is Japanese and her last name is Tsunami, which is just freaking dope. This black lady named April Tsunami.
Hey.
And I know Sykinuelik, it's a combination of two words. One is like, it's a Swahili word. And it had something to do, I'm going to forget it. This was years ago. WSU covered that too. They covered that show too. Oh. And the Henna Queen, that painting I told you, was in that show. Oh, yeah. Because it was all about hair. And if you know April's work, if you see it around, it always has like these big afros with like all this texture and stuff in it. But she's doing a lot of stuff. I'd say like she's popping, and then man, I can't think of her name. But there's a couple other ladies out there that are doing similar things, but they're not graffiti artists. Their art is still like black and beautiful.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like graffiti art. Yeah. Like that is a specific niche.
It is a specific niche. And I don't know any
You gotta be the only one.
Local black female artists
doing graffiti art. You're probably like setting a new thing.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's why there's so much popularity around it, because it's like I think like when you're rare and you're good at what you do, people won't put you on a pedestal.
Do you feel pressure?
Yeah, man.
Oof. I would say you gotta feel pressure, like, because you are setting a whole new lane.
I tell you what the pressure is, though. It's not about being like a pioneer, because I'm really proud of that, and I think that's where my black and beautiful comes in. Like I said, I was always the only girl on the court. I'm still doing that. It's just a different.
You go out there, hit them 3-pointers, laying up behind the back dishes.
Now look, I'll tell you what. I've been this tall since I was 12 years old.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
5'9". Okay, yeah.
So. Yeah. Middle school basketball was fun.
Yes. was.
I wasn't even good at it. I was just bigger than everybody.
Just bullying everybody.
Huge. I was huge.
Grabbing all the rebounds.
Right. All that. They couldn't even inbound the ball. It was so funny, man. It was fun. But still, like I said, like being the only girl on the court, I think that's where I'm kind of like paving the way for someone else to follow in my footsteps, because I don't like when people tell me I can't do something because I'm a woman. Or because I'm a black woman. And I hear that a lot. Like, I'm a single mom of two sons. My sons are
2 boys.
Yeah, they're 16 and 20.
Oh,
I got man-childs.
Yeah.
Right? And I've had people like tell me to my face, like, oh, you can't do that. And it was just like the audacity.
That's what I imagine, that you probably come across that too.
Yeah.
Like, who does she think she is? Like,
But like, who
silly woman, you foolish girl, can't do that.
Girl.
That fuels you. You love it.
It does fuel me, and I will break your head on a pool table too, just for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so that does fuel me when people say like, oh, you can't do this just because you're a girl. Oh, I'm gonna do it just because you said I can't. Just because you said I can't. And not only I'm gonna make you love it too.
Damn, damn, that hurt. Shit, I can't even hate on it.
Like, nah, you gonna love it.
That
you gonna
hurt.
love it.
They want to hate so bad. It's like,
Hey.
damn, that shit dope though.
Yeah, like, yeah, she fired though.
Wow.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. So,
is the arts community competitive? Like,
there is, yeah.
Because I know you spoke on about, it's everyone's invited, y'all support each other, y'all, it's very tight knit community, but I imagine it is also competitive as well.
Yeah, I mean, because we're applying for the same projects.
Name one artist that pushes you, or you look at like they bringing the best out of me. Name one.
Hakeem Callwood. And we worked together. We did. And what was dope is like he invited me out to he's doing a mural tour.
Okay, which we're gonna talk about too.
Because so I was like, man, I want to do a mural tour, and then he was on it. I was like, damn it. It's like I can't do it because he did it. I was like, can I come? Like, can I just let me know if you want me to come out? So it's like, instead of and he's super dope. Hakeem is cool. He's cool as fuck.
So he would be that guy that pushes you and brings out the best.
Right? Yeah. But we did I painted his car with him. Oh, so shit. you'll see his car riding around Columbus, and I've got my name tagged on it, and he signed the other side. It was really dope. Oh shit! Like doing this duality thing, and he's got like a whole production crew and stuff. He's just like, he's ahead of the game in that aspect of it. Another artist, a couple other artists is like Robot Geek, B1.
Okay. So it's competitive.
Yeah. Well, I think what's happening is like, Lance Johnson, he's another one. Because our art is kind of similar. Okay. But like we just did the Summer Spray project, and we were both painting on the same day. Yeah. And he's an East Coast dude too.
Hey now.
Yeah.
Represent from my East Coast.
Hey, East Coast. And so I saw his art in his coffee shop. I was like, man, I gotta meet this guy. Like, his art is kind of similar to mine. I was like, I want to paint a mural with you. So as opposed to, I think it's a respect thing. Like, your art is dope. I want to work with you, as opposed to your art is dope and I'm gonna shit on you.
I'll do you. No, so I know your shit is inspiring me, right? To create I
speak to just like you were doing with like the podcast awards. It's a credit to
all the dopeness going
all your dopeness, and I think it's a good competitive nature. So it doesn't feel competitive. Yeah. The competition is because you submit your work and then the jury decides. Yeah. But I think that if you're smart and you're confident in what you do, you'll be political about it, and you'll put your homies on, and you'll try to create projects because you're stronger together. That's you really are. Like, I'd love to have a crew, because these projects I'm getting they're getting bigger. Whew, they're getting bigger, man. And it's like, I would love to have a crew of artists like come together. And I know eventually you'll probably get to that space, but it's just kind of like seeing who you work with, who does your art mesh well with.
That gotta be that's a selection process that gotta be like taken really carefully. Like
I
if
think
you
it
build
has
a
to.
team,
It has
right?
to be organic.
Right.
It has to be because art. When it comes to art, when you have to like paint in a or create in a fluid way. Like, okay, so the summer project last weekend, if you guys go to my Instagram page, FDZ Graffiti, you can go on there and you can look at my lives, and there's a snapshot where it's BHB, the TKM crew, Lance Johnson, and me. That project was so dope. So the dancers are dancing, and we had them come in all white clothes. The DJ is playing, and if y'all know BHB is a break dancer. Like, he's like a grandfather of this shit for real. Like, he'll come out and do a head spin, go back to the turntables, and keep going. Yeah. Like, BHB is fire. If y'all don't know him, BHBforyou.com. He's always shouting that out, right? And so Lance actually had done this performance art where he was painting somebody as they were dancing. And so I was like, well, I know a dance crew. Let me bring a dance crew that I've worked with before, that I'm going to work with again. Yeah. And then maybe, and also not being like, not trying to cock block people. Right. If you want to work with them, and I think Lance ended up booking BHB for his pop-up that he's doing with the Summer Spray project. Okay. But we need not to have this crabs in a barrel mentality. Yes. And you need to be uplifting the people who do what you do. Who That's are dope. Right. It's not like, oh, one person reigns supreme. No. Yeah. It don't work like that. And if that's your attitude, nobody will want to work with you. Hell no. No one will want to fucking work with you if you're all about like, oh, it's just me. Me. Don't nobody want to work with you if that's your attitude. Yep. You could be as talented as you want to be. But when it comes to like artistry, people care about who you are because the art comes from your soul. You won't want to attach yourself to somebody who has a dark soul or who's an asshole. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I think that it's a type of competition, but it's not like an athletic. I want to crush you. No, fuck your painting. Yeah, fuck your painting. I'm gonna trip you or sabotage you, poke a hole in your paint can, right. Or throw paint on you. Oh, you charging that much for that? I wouldn't pay that. But then at the same time, there's this hush hush thing because don't nobody want to tell you. Like I ain't telling y'all how much I'm charging. I'm not telling y'all that's kind of like this. Some things you keep thing. Like, I ain't telling y'all everything now. No, but at the same time, it's like, I remember B said one time, he's like, make sure you get your money. Like, he was just talking about how many zeros need to be in that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is like, if we're on the same caliber and we're bidding for the same project or contract, I'm gonna need you to be like represent, and don't shortchange yourself, because that's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a low blow, but it's a discredit to you. And if your artwork is associated to mine, then you need to walk with your chin up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's very similar, I think, to it's not similar to hip hop. No, not at all. Oh no, that's Gladiator. No, only one man can reign supreme. Stricken that from the record. This probably is like, art is probably the one thing that is like really like, there's no like, I gotta crush all the other artists type thing to be the top artist type shit. They do actually have an event like that. Do they really? In Cali. Oh, in California? I think it was like a art off or something like that, where they have these artists set up these canvases and they paint live. How do you judge it though? Is it judges? If it's dope, I mean, it's like dopeness. Like, oh, isn't it like with art? It's the eye of the beholder type thing. First of all, for the record, everyone, I'm gonna let y'all know. I think that whole everybody gets a trophy shit, that's bullshit. Okay, and here's the thing: not all art is good just because it's art. Like, you want somebody to be like, oh, let me put some baby powder on your booty because your art is nice. It's like, no, your shit sucks. That sucks. And maybe you don't say that sucks, but you can tell somebody how it could be better. I can't tell you how many times it's like I tell people I'm an artist and they're like, oh, look at my art. Oh, like, especially like dudes be trying to like slide in a DM and be like smooth. Oh, yeah. I remember one time this dude. I do art too. Let me tell you, man, this one dude tried to slide my DM talking about he was an artist, and I went and looked on his page, and I was like, I don't see no artwork on this page.
Not a one.
Not one. No, excuse me. There was one.
Oh, okay.
There was uno. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I don't see your art. Maybe he's got a separate page or something like that. And so he sent me this one picture, and I'm just like, you drew a picture. It gets to a point where it's like there's this mutual thing. Don't insult my art. Yeah. Saying that you are an artist and you like to draw.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this shit. Yeah. And it's just like you need to understand that. I'm also not one. I don't blow smoke up nobody's ass.
You're not going baby smell like that's really nice.
But I'm also not an asshole. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna kill your dreams because maybe
constructive.
Right, it's constructive. Like maybe you're going through an evolution. Like there was somebody I knew who was in that space, and they were becoming an artist, and they asked me like, what do you think of my art? And I was honest with them. And for real, if you want to become a better artist, you do need to be open to critique. You need to be open to critique.
You ask it a lot, Felicia. That's hard.
It is. Well, you have to. I think you have to go into a space where people are going to give you criticism that's going to enhance you and not tear you down. So, like for those of you who are aspiring artists, a cultural arts center is a great place to go and take the drawing classes. It's through recreation and parks, but you go to a drawing class, and there will be people there who are professionals. There will be people there who are amateurs. There are people there who are just adventurous or whatever. And at the end of the class, you go through and you critique everyone's work. But if you are drawing a picture of somebody's face and you want it to be real, you want it to get better, I'm not going to do you a favor telling you that if this is bullshit, that it's good. If you're a chef, right? If you're cooking food and your food tastes like shit, I'm not going to tell you it's the best thing I've ever had. I'm not doing you or me a favor because the next time you cook for me, you're going to give me shit. Right? So it's like there's a real, recognize real. Yeah. And also this goes back to what I was saying. Check in within. You need to be okay alone. And if you paint in a way where you feel like you're being a pioneer and you're doing something strange and different or out of the box, that's fine. Own that. And it may take some thick skin.
You gotta be thick skinned. You gotta have.
If you want to do something that's real different, you know what I'm saying. But have purpose. If you have purpose behind it, then people might buy it. Hey, I don't know. Yeah. So to each his own.
So I imagine that your mentor probably hurt your feelings numerous amount of times.
No, I grew up around. First of all, when it comes to me getting my feelings hurt, I had a very rough childhood.
It's gonna take a lot to hurt your feelings.
All right, so if you come for my feelings, you probably gonna get your feelings hurt too.
Woo.
I'm just saying.
You ain't a man.
I ain't scared.
You with the smoke. You with the smoke.
Don't want the smoke. Don't come with the smoke.
FDZ, goddammit. Jeez.
But when it comes to art, I invite criticism. But
okay.
There's a time and place for it. I don't go out here giving my opinion to everybody.
You're not just
what I'm saying?
Voluntarily. If you ask me, like, hey, Felicia, what do you think of this piece? You'll say what you get, or you say, oh.
No, what I do, and I'll tell you what I do. People say like, okay, what do you think? I give them positive feedback, but it's brief. I'll just pick out something that I do, like, oh, okay, I like the colors, or I see where you were going with that. But I'm also like creative enough that I can like step into their shoes and like kind of view it from their point of view. Because I used to, and that's been a journey I went through as I started to dabble in abstract art, because I used to be very critical of abstract. And it's like, oh, I don't understand this. You're not. It looks effortless. It looks simple, and I didn't understand the complexities or the variety of things that were going in it. When I went into art college, you start learning about like composition and color treatment and things like that. Usually, people who are abstract artists, they're doing something with color treatment, or they're doing something with texture, or whatever. And quite frankly, if you don't understand it, ask.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like critiquing other people's work, I really keep that to myself unless they ask me to, or unless it's in a space. Like, only in that drawing class am I going to tell you what's wrong with your painting. If you're asking me what I think, I'm going to give you positive feedback, but I'm also not going to be blowing smoke up your ass like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, if you some dude trying to mack in my DMs and you're not an artist and you're trying to be on some fake shit, like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, do you see that I do this professionally?
Right.
That's like,
please don't insult me.
You know,
don't do that.
Just because I changed my freaking rear view mirror don't mean that I remodel cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look what I did in my car. You like that, right? yeah. You see those Hello Kitty covers on the steering wheel? That's fire, right? And I'm up here at West Coast Customs like, hey, can I get in? Y'all see the Hello Kitty fluffy steering wheel, right? No.
Right, you'll get your ass out of here.
You'll get your ass out of here.
Goofy ass. Next. I imagine what your DMs look like.
Oh my God.
I get all types of people in there.
I try to keep them clean. I tell you what was crazy though.
You got a good one? Give it to us. We on Cloth Talk Podcast.
Man, dude slid up in my DM talking about, you're a great artist or whatever. You deserve my advice.
Wow. You deserve my advice. That's what he said to you.
That's what he said. That's what he said to me. I'm like, oh, we were trying to do some Ike and Tina Turner shit, huh? That's what that's got written all over it.
Wow.
Like, yeah, you should, because you're real talented. You deserve. So you want to step up in my space and act like you told me to do this.
Wow.
That might even have been the same dude who was a fake ass artist.
that
might have been him. It might have.
What? You deserve my advice.
You deserve my. I'm like, wow. There's people out here who are like twisted and toxic. But you know what?
Damn.
I don't even try to change them. I'm just like.
You're right. Like, go ahead, move along.
Look, you just push that basket back out into the river and let it float on down to somebody else. Because there's somebody for everybody, and you can just come as you are. Somebody gonna love you like that.
Wow.
Because I've known some ghetto folks who are in love. Some ghetto toxic folks who find other ghetto toxic folks, and they got their own.
Something for everybody.
Hey, but it ain't over here.
Hey, miss me with that.
Yeah, you can miss me.
We're gonna take one more break. And when we come back, Felicia's gonna be our first guest to participate in our new segment. I haven't even named this segment yet. Guess, ask, guess, maybe.
Guess, ask, guess.
Yeah, because it's guess asking guess.
I don't know.
It's kind of like
it's kind of mushy and it sounds nasty.
Guess, ask, guess. Like
you a guess ass guess.
Right.
This is our guess ass guess today. Right. You like, guess as fuck. Right. Guess as fuck.
You say ass or ask?
Yes.
I'll name it later. I'll figure it out. But so I guess I'll just explain.
It could be Quest Bowl.
Quest Bowl. I like that. Quest Bowl.
Quest Bowl.
There we go.
Guess to guess Quest Bowl.
Guess to guess Quest Bowl.
There we go. Boom.
I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jumper the fadeaway too.
Right.
Lean back with that one like Here we go. So when we come back, we're going to play Guess to Guess Quest Bowl.
All right. Hey.
And we're going to hit a few more questions and topics, then we're going to wrap it up. Shout out to y'all if y'all still tuned in, if y'all listened this long. Shout out to you. That means you're enjoying this conversation. You know what else that means? That you should subscribe. If you listen this long to this conversation and you are enjoying the podcast, if you are feeling Felicia, show us some love. Hit up the Instagram, follow her work, go to the website. If people want to buy anything, can they buy your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So lately I've been doing a lot more commissions.
Okay.
So there are different places where you can buy my artwork. United Strength is a place where my art is hanging right now.
Okay.
Lookout Supply, which is a really dope place if you guys are interested in graffiti. If you're an aspiring graffiti artist, that is a great place to learn. They have free walls. So it's like these walls you can go and paint anytime you want to. Now there are walls that are like reserved for the master graffiti artists, but they have these free walls too. Every Thursday night they have an art night. It's very inclusive. It's a dope group of people that come out there, and that's where I buy all my supplies from. When I launch my apparel line, they're going to be carrying some of my t-shirts. They already have some other artist t-shirts
coming
in
out
there
with merch too.
Yeah,
we gotta talk about that when we come back from the break. So much with you.
I know,
damn,
so much. I'm doing a lot. I'm trying to take over the world.
Man, do you have time for yourself? Does Felicia have downtime? Do you have time where you just a woosah moment, like just because it seems like right now you're where you're at in your life right now, where you're just in a different stride and you just on go.
I am on go. I mean, but you gotta understand, like I was a young mom, and I'm just now in a space where I have the liberty to like just run full force. So I'm not stopping until I can buy that floating mansion boat.
Hey, you on go mode?
I'm on go mode.
I think that's what I'm gonna title this episode. I'm on go mode or go mode. Some new variation with going mode in it. That'll be the title of the episode. Go mode.
Quespo go mode.
There you go. Subscribe. Make sure you tap in with Felicia, aka FDZ. You can cop some artwork. I'm sure once the merch drop, people can buy that when that comes out. But don't go nowhere. We still got more to talk about with Felicia. We're gonna be right back here on Call Talk Podcast. Don't go nowhere.
In the kitchen, mixing up that power. That's Supremo when you mix it with the sour. Shorty naked, I just hit it in the shower. She be jealous like my makeup on the tower. Was 48, was 48. Shaking, got that sweat like Austin Powers. See you niggas hating, but I know you niggas cowards. Run up on them with the glizzy, they don't want no problems. Power, take over the world and we won't stop until it's ours. Pinky in the brain, getting brain in my boxes. In Miami, again, I'm switching lanes in the boxes. Middle finger up instead of 100 on the coppers. Bank account don't got no limit, that's up the shock. Was 48, was 48. See them boys coming, I'ma hit them with that flopper. Was 48, was 48. Kill these haters, I be out here fly like helicopters. Shorty in my DM told me that she think I'm cute. Said I'm in your city, baby, what you tryna do?
Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Cloth Talk Podcast. We've been having since we've been on break, we're having this bomb ass sidebar conversation that is like super important, very important. I want to talk about some of the stuff that we were just talking about, but that we definitely gonna have to bring you back on so we can have a part 2 to this.
That's gonna be a whole nother.
But we was talking about and we're gonna play. Well, Felicia's gonna play Guest to Guest Quest Bowl in just a few moments. So stay tuned. We'll see what. Question.
Can I do a blittle? It's the basement move, and like I've been wanting to do that this whole time because it's reminding me like being on the couch, like Wayne's World, excellent, 80s babies.
Definitely.
All right. Okay.
But before we get to our game and wrap this up, we were talking about during the break some heavy good stuff. You were mentioning about how being a young mother kind of made you grow up fast, and you're growing up with your kids, because if it's okay we could say how how old you was when you had your kids.
Let's just say I was young.
Just okay.
I wasn't old enough to drink yet.
Yeah, just so y'all do use your imaginations. Mm-hmm. Young mother, 2 boys, and we were just talking about masculinity within men, because that's what it was. You were sharing a story about one of the DMs you got, and you started like looking at like, okay, like this guy, there's a reason why this guy would say this thing, which is you deserve my advice.
You deserve my advice.
And we just got into this whole mental health talk. And
about like masculine toxicity.
Yeah. And you were talking about, you know, like how you sometimes correct yourself, like raising your boys now, and how, you know, where that comes from is, you know, like black mothers. I think it's such an important conversation, because now it's making me think about how I grew up, you know, with my mom. My dad wasn't, you know, a present father. He was like one of those in and out type of dads who pretty much just pop up when you want to pop up type of, you know, dad. But obviously, you know, mom's a single mother, grinding, busting her ass. And it's making me think, like, a mother can get caught up so much in just trying to protect her kids or her boys. Yeah. And in doing so, what she thinks is protecting is actually hurting the boy.
Yeah. So I was literally just talking to my son about this yesterday. Yeah. And I think he asked me some question about, he's like, well, what were my terrible twos like? And pretty much just like, you know, how did I maneuver that whole thing? And I'm like, well, there's a balance, because I have to acknowledge your emotions. And the thing is like, if you don't love the baby, then there's going to be this hole in a man, and he's going to be too grown to fill that hole, because you can't treat a man like a baby. You got to treat a baby like a baby when it's a baby, but you got to give it some forgiveness and some love, right? But then there's a point where it's like, okay, we put a Band-Aid on it, I kissed your boo-boo, now suck it up. Yeah. that was my thing. And it was like, we would deal with it. We talk about what the problem was. And if you were crying too long, I'd be like, okay, are you done? There's a point when it's like, all right, now regain yourself. Self control, self-discipline. And it's like, that is the root and the seed of a man, is that you're self-made, you're self-initiated. You don't need me to tell you what to do. You don't need anybody else to tell you what to do. That's how you raise a leader. You teach them to be fearless, how to deal with fear. That goes back to the water, right? So I'm saying that this was through my experience. Even though I was a young mother, I was very wise, because I was working in the community, and I was working with children at every single stage in their life who come from different backgrounds. I was also dealing with adults who had the same issues with fear. I was also dating men who had toxic issues, and I was finding these common truths. And the common factor is the fear. How do you digest? How do you deal with fear? Are you using it as a tool? Are you injecting it into other people? Are you a liberator? You know, but ultimately, no matter how you utilize it outside of yourself, if you don't have a healthy way to digest it within you, then you're going to end up with a cancer. You know,
man, we don't want to put the work in, though.
Yeah.
Like that, like we were saying, you know, it's a scary place to go to put that work. Because number one, I gotta acknowledge it. I gotta relive all this shit. I gotta go back to those. Like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to put that work in, Felicia. Like, that's. I'm trying to go back.
You know, look. You don't have to, because trust and believe. There are some things that I had to leave behind me, but what you need to deal with is like, okay, so let's say I fell down the steps, right, and I broke my arm.
Damn.
Right. I could walk around with this broken arm and let it heal dysfunctional. I can walk around and have this dysfunctional arm. Now, I don't have to keep reliving going down the steps, but I got to deal with this broken arm. Right? You got to acknowledge the fact that you got a compound fracture. Okay? There's a bone sticking out of your arm, out of your mental health, out of your emotional arm. There's a compound fracture, okay? You need to patch that shit up. Okay? You might need some therapy. And it don't have to be nobody's business. It don't have to be nobody's business. You can deal with a lot within yourself, but at the same time, and then we're not perfect. There are times when you may snap, or you may find yourself out of control, or you may not be that coof at something. But the key is, don't act like you're good at something that you're not. When it comes to like dealing with emotions or mental state, you can tell people like, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me, but I don't give a fuck about this or this. Or you'll have to forgive me, I've been through these things, and so I just don't really care, and I also don't want to talk about it. But it's like that. There, you have to deal with it within yourself. It don't have to be nobody else's business. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if you need to go cry alone, but after you cry about it, suck that shit up and get the fuck on and walk like a grown ass person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Pain is only temporary. Mm-hmm. Birth is turbulent. Right? and what was the other thing? Pain is temporary. Birth is turbulent. And growth is painful. So these things, it is gonna hurt if you have to deal with something like that. Like when you break a bone and you gotta heal and you have to go through physical therapy. That really inspires me to like see people who like walk again. And I witnessed a lot of that around the water as a lifeguard. Like there's a lot of stuff you see when you're sitting in that chair. Wow. Your job is to watch people. Yeah. And I learned a lot about even like the simple nature of somebody who may be, like there was this boy who was deaf and blind. Oh. But when he was in the water, it was beautiful. Because he loved it, and he would just roll. He would roll in it. He was so happy. And once he got in the water, we didn't tell him to get out. We didn't have him get out because he had like a therapist that was with him. Oh, okay. And so we would just let him be in the water. And it was just so liberating to like watch him and just to see the way where you think this person is incapable, how liberated they are. Like there was another lady that was wheelchair bound and she had a stroke and the whole left side of her body was paralyzed, but she would swim 200 meters a day. She would, and check this out. This is how we would get her in the water. We'd stand her up and drop her. Stand her up. She would fall into the water and she would swim with one side of her body. One side of her body, she would swim 200 meters. So like seeing people come through things like that, you can get through those things. Yeah. It's just like working out. Yeah. You know, some people are like, oh, there's no way I could ever squat 200 pounds. It's like, well, you know, if you start with the bar, you could eventually. You
can work up to it.
Right.
Gotta put the work in.
You got to do that stuff with your soul.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Gotta put the work in all facets of your life. Wow. This has been a blast. I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation as much as I am as well.
Yeah, it's been good.
Okay, before we get to guest Quest Bowl, tell us about this tour.
Okay.
Yes, because we didn't even talk about that.
So it is a tour in development. It's really kind of like you remember Fraggle Rock? You don't remember Fraggle Rock? Okay, so there was this uncle that was always on these adventures and he'd send these postcards. I'm pretty sure some other kid shows that did the same thing. So that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm going on an adventure. I think a tour is more like it's set dates and so on and so on. But this is really
it's
like
a tour. You got dates and
it
stuff.
It is, but it's also like evolving as I go. And I'm really just I'm going to set up some things to do in certain cities, and then as I'm there, I'm going to continue to network and then do things like this, like do podcasts and things like that. So it may not be all set up because I am a one-woman show. I need...
There's no publicist, no assistant.
Exactly. I need a publicist. I need an assistant. I need a booking agent. But in the meantime, I am all of those things. All in one. So about the tour. So part of it is I'm going to be doing podcasts like this. Dope. I am going to be representing some of the companies that I'm affiliated with, like Disrupt Art, which is a platform for NFT sales, specifically art related. So I'm going to be curating that. I'm going to be recruiting. Also, we're going to be giving like seminars. First, we're going to start off it's going to be very exclusive though. So that's not really like necessarily like a public thing.
Okay.
But if you guys are interested, do feel free to DM me. I know for a fact that once I start doing that, my DMs are gonna blow up.
Yes. For sure.
So that's one thing. The school tour is the thing that's going to be really fun though. And what's really cool is that teachers have actually started to teach. Like, I'm a subject in classrooms. It's blowing my mind.
Get out of here.
It's crazy, man. Like, I've had like high school teachers, middle school teachers who are like, hey, you know, the kids are really responding to your art. And because I have an element of, you know, it's environmentally friendly. I'm an anti-vandalism graffiti artist. I'm not knocking anybody who's out there in the streets doing your thing. Y'all do that. Y'all keep it real. Y'all keep it authentic. But I'm a mom. So I was never hanging off the side of a building or on a subway or anything like that.
Street art, they call it.
Yeah, street art. And you know, I'm a graffiti artist, and it's like I get paid for what I do. I'm not, you know, and a part of my campaign is that I want people to understand that graffiti is an art style that is a fine art form. I don't want people to think that graffiti is a crime. Vandalism is a crime. There are graffiti artists who vandalize things.
Yep.
Just like there are politicians who steal shit. But you ain't hear that from me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that's just not what I do. I just have this personal campaign to and I think it's a part of the movement. It's already happening. There are graffiti artists who are in museums and things like that. That's just my mission. That's just what I'm doing with my art. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to like what I do.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's part of my tour.
Nice.
Is to be environmentally friendly, anti-vandalism, to teach kids, like, if you like this type of artwork, there are non-illegal ways that you can express it.
Yeah.
I also don't want the children to have the idea that if you like this type of art that you have to then commit a crime. You know.
Yeah.
And then there's an organization up in Cleveland called Graffiti Art. They're also about that. You know, but they're also like, they also have like this really dope space where they bring in like famous renowned artists. I'm so honored that they actually have some of my art in their collection.
Nice.
With artists like Risk. For y'all out there that are like for real
That's
graffiti, y'all know that. Y'all know who Risk is, and if you don't know, look him up. And I'm just saying that I got an art piece in the same collection as his, and that's just huge.
Man.
That's huge. It's crazy. But anyways, that's like a nonprofit organization, and they do this thing where it's like first time offenders who are in court for vandalism, instead of them going to jail, they partner them with a mentor, which is really dope. So that's an aspect of the tour. I'm also going to be doing like these penthouse paint and sips.
Okay.
Which are also like the aficionados of like cigars and whiskeys. So essentially what I'm gonna do is like I might come to a city near you, post up for a month, and I'm gonna do everything that I do there that I do here. And that's pretty much it.
Nice.
You know?
Do you ever sit back and like just like realize like how dope and accomplished you are? I'm
not there yet. I don't think so.
Like,
no,
I'm just like, I could tell you don't, because I could just tell by the way you speak about like yourself and the shit that you do and the shit that you're involved in, that I like. She don't even take. I know she don't.
Look,
she
man.
Don't.
I mean, it's. All right, I'm gonna share a little private information with you guys.
Go ahead. Exclusive on Cloth Talk Podcast.
Exclusive on Cloth Talk, because I want to relate to people.
Yes. Because
I don't want you to get the misconception that I'm like high and mighty or anything. I'm very humble, and I'm not, and I have not arrived into a space until you see me drive around here in a 64 Impala with white walls, rooftop down, painted hot pink. I'm not balling yet. But you will know. You will know.
To the T.
To the T.
I know exactly what it look like and everything.
I see it in my mind. You gotta visualize it first. But until you see me driving around here in that car, I'm not there yet. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing. This is what's going to get me there. You know, and even when I arrive there, I still want to be able to be relatable to people. So I don't think I'm ever going to be a person with like my nose up in the air, because like, what are you doing for if you're not like creating a path?
That's real. Yeah.
And if you're like really stuck up about what you do, who gives a fuck, really?
Yeah.
It's only going to be other people who are trying to be. It's going to be other fake motherfuckers who really give a fuck about fake motherfuckers. If that's what
Say that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
it.
And that's not who I am. That's not who I'm going to be. I want to inspire others the way that I was inspired by the people around me. And the people before me, like Amina Robinson, Andy Warhol, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Van Gogh. And yeah, like I don't. So when you say that, thank you very much for saying that.
You're welcome.
That's cool.
It's more than just cool, Felicia. Stop it. Just cut it out. Jesus Christ, woman.
That's cool, but look, man.
After all that, like, that's cool. What the fuck? so beautifully, eloquently said, just like, that's cool though.
It's cool, you know?
You need to cut it out. All right. With that being said, we're going to play our first segment of Guest to Guest Quest Bowl.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
Named by FDZ.
And then you need to have like all the small talk and be like, may cause explosive diarrhea.
All right. Oh, shit. Disclaimer.
They always slip that one thing and be like, I don't want this pill. I'm gonna deal with whatever my symptoms are. I'm good.
Explosive diarrhea. Hey, fuck that toilet up. You all right in there? A little disclaimer at the bottom. All right. For those who want to submit questions, this is a guest-based segment where the guests write their questions and we put it in here. But also the listeners, I'm not going to leave you out. If you guys want to submit random questions for future guests, send those questions to clothtalk5@gmail.com. And my music artist, you can send music there as well. Just make sure you put the MP3, name of the artist, name of the song, and your contact info. All right, I'm gonna hand this bowl to you. You go ahead and shuffle it. Don't look. You gotta pick. Okay. You gotta pick blindly.
I gotta get around the microphone first. Okay.
All right. So for those, hold on. Let me set the scene. Go ahead. You could just shuffle them. So for people who aren't watching on YouTube, right now, Felicia is shuffling the bowl with her hand.
Oh, it's a big one.
Ah.
Oh wait, hold on. No, that was two. Oh, okay. I got it.
All right.
I got it.
So she picked one. All right, I'll take the bowl.
Okay, because I don't want to see the other ones and be like,
right.
I wish I picked that one.
So she got a question now. The rule is you have to read out the question out loud and answer 100% honestly.
All right.
As she buttons the shirt.
Okay, if you had to pick one restaurant for the rest of your life, what would that restaurant be?
Ooh. Interesting question. You go ahead and drop it back in the bowl. So the question was, if you had to pick one restaurant to eat at for the rest of your life, what would that restaurant be? Good question. Whoever guessed had that was. Interesting question.
If I don't have to pay for it,
that wasn't a question.
Okay, I have two answers.
Two restaurants.
Two restaurants. First of all, to be honest, the first thing that came to my mind, like I'm not even gonna try to roll it around in my brain. My subconscious was like Chipotle. Because there's like you can eat it in so many different. You can mix that up in so many different ways.
Yeah,
it's like I could work with that. Like if I had my whole refrigerator and that's all the ingredients I had in there, I could finesse that.
Okay.
Especially if I could have eggs. Like we could throw eggs in there. Boom, I could live with Chipotle.
Eggs, your twist.
Eggs.
You like eggs?
Because I like eggs. Because you gotta have breakfast.
Okay.
And it's like you can make if you have eggs.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff, you can make anything out of that.
You're thinking about this smartly. So you're looking at the different ways you could
Like I could deal with that because I need I change a lot. Like I've changed my hair so much over the years. If you got
like a true artist,
like a true artistic person,
y'all look different all the time.
I've just now like settled on a look where it's like just wear your hair as it is. My hair was blue last year.
See?
I've had blue hair, blonde hair, burgundy hair, long hair, short hair, blonde hair, black hair.
Man, y'all arty people
chocolate.
be confusing me, man. I'm like what the.
I've just decided like, okay, now that I'm like more in the public, I should just be like just look like me because I look like a totally different person when I start like doing different stuff to my hair. So it's like, let's just keep it. You know, when I put makeup on, I look like a totally different person. So I'm just not gonna confuse the people.
Yeah.
And just do this. But my other answer was Cameron Mitchell's The Ocean Club.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
Never even been.
It's like a 5-star restaurant.
That's why.
Seafood. That's why I said if I didn't have to pay for it. If I had to pay for it, it would be Chipotle because that you could budget that in your life, right?
Of course.
If I didn't have to pay for it, give me that Cameron Mitchell. Give me lobster. Give me the they have like these martinis that are like boiling because they put dry ice in it, and they have another one that has like an orchid flower in it.
Good God.
I love seafood.
I
love seafood. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Seafood is good.
So even when I'm like, I go through these tangents where I'm like on a vegetarian diet, I'm still eating seafood. I can go without chicken. I really don't eat chicken. Sometimes I eat beef. I still dabble in pork every once in a while, but seafood is like necessary. Yeah. So those are my answers.
Okay, so Chipotle and
The Ocean Club.
The Ocean Club.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now you have to add a question to our lovely thing. So I'm going to hand you this notepad and pen.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be one question, as many as you want. So,
okay.
Yeah. So if you thought of a multitude of questions, go ahead and write them down. And as you're writing, I'm going to talk and plug. Many as you want. Okay. All right, so as Felicia, aka FDZ, is writing her questions down, I want to shout out our sponsors for sponsoring the podcast. Shout out to the Flyer Agency. Want to shout out to HelloBlackMan.com and Whitehall Nutrition Lounge. As you're writing, do you think graffiti art is a dying art?
Absolutely not. On the contrary, I believe it's the opposite. I mean, I'm a part of and a pioneer in this, like pushing it to a light. Like, let's put it on the formal arts table, and it's there, but on a common level. Yeah. I think people who are like collectors and people who are kind of like in the upper class of art collectors or art connoisseurs, they understand that there's an appraisal. But I kind of want to talk to like the common person, because occasionally when I introduce myself as a graffiti artist, people still say, "Is that illegal?"
Yeah.
And I want to eliminate that reaction.
It still has that stigma to it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You're fucking up the community.
Right. Well, like there was a festival I did.
That's not art.
I did Urban Scrawl a couple weeks ago, and there was a older couple. They were more conservative, and the gentleman started to speak to what he thought my art was. And he was like, "Oh, you street artists, I really got to give it to you guys. You're out there like risking life and limb, not getting paid." And I was like, "Whoa, hold up, pause. That's not exactly what I don't do. First of all, I get paid every time I do this. Hey, I'm not painting nothing because spray paint's not cheap. Yeah. Especially if it's good spray paint. No.
Yeah. Is there any like?" And I know you're supposed to be writing your questions. Okay. I'm distracting you. Is there any like tips and tricks that you won't give away that you use for like your materials and shit?
Graffiti?
Yeah.
First of all, go to Lookout Supply.
Okay. Get all your stuff there.
Go there.
All your art goods will be there. Anything you need.
But I'm telling you, like, this is where I learned a lot. It's like, go there when they have like they have a monthly festival that they do. I think the next one they're gonna do is Halloween. It's really dope though, because they have first of all, the owner of the shop is a dope ass artist. Ketchup. Shout out to Ketchup. Ketchup is fucking OG.
Nice.
And what's dope is that it's called Lookout Supply because they look out. And when I first met him, I told him I had an art show, and he came. Like, you usually don't like meet somebody who's in a position to teach you, who actually comes out immediately and appreciates your work. My own family don't come to my shit.
Right.
Okay, so when he came and he sent me a picture where he was there and I wasn't there, I was like, dude, that's really dope. So I always wanted to support him. But they have like all the different caps and stuff, and like I said, they have the free walls there. So you could go there, buy the paint, ask the questions, tell them what you're going to do. They'll be like, all right, you might want to try this or try that. And then you can walk outside and go try it outside.
Nice.
Come back in, get some more paint. You know what I'm saying? It's a really good place for you to actually evolve.
For sure.
Legally.
Yeah.
But you're still having like that authentic, like gritty street art experience.
Nice.
Without having to be like, ducking off in some dirty alley with like raccoons and meth heads walking around.
Jesus Christ, right?
Because I don't have time for that.
Yeah, hopefully no one else does. All right, I'll let you finish writing your questions.
If you guys would like to commission Felicia FDZ Graffiti to do any kind of mural services.
Yes, do you do custom work for the people?
I do custom work for the people.
Finish talking to the people.
General, and a lot of people don't talk about this. This is like, this is a big no-no.
Oh.
But the basis for me personally, I don't even know if I should say this.
Oh.
Now I'm kind of regret it.
You gonna give another exclusive? Is this like top secret stuff?
It is kind of top. You know what? No.
Can't
I'm
give
not
them
gonna
that
say
one?
it because this might be like this could be like real hot like 3 years from now, and people are like, you said that you charge this much. And it's my pricing like goes up every 3 months.
They gonna hold you to that what you said.
I'm gonna tell you what you guys can do. You can hit me up in my
There
DM. Hey, hit me up, slide in the DM while I'm still affordable.
The price is going up, just like Fat Joe said about Jada Kiss. Today's price is not yesterday's price. Are men more dependent on women, or are women more dependent on men? That's a good question to put in the thing. I could add a question.
Look, act like it was you. I'll write it in my handwriting.
I could
but you print those out, right?
Yeah, because I'm just going to put it in the computer and print it out.
Okay, well, y'all didn't hear that. That didn't come from him.
Yeah.
I wrote. It's secret. It's
that's
not,
actually that's a good ass question.
Well, I mean, honestly, like we know, like just based on like traditional patriarchy,
who needs who more?
Women are dependent on men, but the problem is, this is a whole nother subject.
We're gonna have a part 2.
Are men dependable?
Ouch! My
like
rib.
yes,
my
I would
side.
say yes, and the thing is, like, men would expect you to say yes, but it's like, but are you dependable? You don't want to be dependable. So as that becomes more obvious, and chicks stop walking around here being ditzy, like, oh, I need a man. I like a man. I'd like to have a man.
Yeah.
But I don't need one.
Oh, you cutting deep.
I'm sorry. This is just me. But it's just me. It's just me. But as people, and we may end up being in like this society where people kind of get into this very comfortable space where I think the world's going to become like more poly, to be honest. I think that's really.
I'm agreeing with that. I've been thinking that for like the last couple of years now. Just like seeing how culture is shifting and the direction the world is going in. Everything is like fast. Yeah. The social media game done just got people's minds believing that shit is reality. Like everyone's like, I want to do this, boom, 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 and I want as much of it as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. As much, as many, more. But the people who are content, who are like, you know what, I'm not really on that. I'm doing my thing. You're doing your thing. If we support each other, we'll support each other. Yep. And, you know, like personally, if I could share a little personal information when it comes to like dating and stuff like that, I found that I have a healthier relationship if you take it in seasons. And you're not so judgmental about somebody, and it's like, if we grow together, then we can grow together, and if not, I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna be forcing myself down nobody's throat, like, oh, you need to show up, and you need to, because here's the other thing.
I feel that
whether I get married or not doesn't matter at this point. What am I gonna get married for? To have kids? I already had kids.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm about to be traveling, and I don't need to be held down. So it's like, you can kind of like, if you're running with me, you can run with me.
Right.
Okay. But I'm definitely not going to be up under no, you deserve my advice type nigga.
Right.
That's what's not going to happen.
Bitch, I pay these bills. I run this house. This is my house.
Sing. Paint, bitch.
Right.
Like, you need to paint some shit, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like you was here before, nigga. No.
Right. And you don't even seem like that type to go for that type of shit, because like your personality is not timid, it's not quiet. You have a very dominant personality, so it's going to take a special type of dude to have to deal with.
But the
that.
thing is, okay, I have coined myself as an alpha submissive because I only submit to alphas.
I'm about to say, it's got to take a special type of guy.
Yeah, so that's what it is. It's like, even though this is my personality, and a lot of people, like some people who get self-conscious around me, men and women, they do this like this passive aggressive like attack on my character, because it's like, oh, you're making me feel small, or you're making me feel like I'm an inferior, or I want your attention, and so I'm gonna do some awkward shit.
Yeah.
Like, say, you deserve my attention. Like, how is that attractive? Like, does that work for you? Has that ever worked for you?
Right.
I don't know why you would think that would work over here. You just like, I'm just trying to throw something up there and see if it lands.
Right.
But I think I forgot where I was going with that. The alpha submissive thing. So it's like, I'm also, like I said, I don't blow smoke up nobody's ass. You could be as good looking, and then that's the other thing. It's like, dudes think like, oh, I'm good looking, or I got money, or I'm tall, or I'm an athlete, or I'm this big show, whatever. All
these attributes,
right? And it's like they get kind of taken back when I'm like, so.
Right. Like, that doesn't do nothing for me.
I literally had this dude at a club, and he was like, oh, I'm famous. I'm like, I don't know who you are. And even if I did, I'm not a starstruck person. You know what I mean? I've been around a lot of celebrities, and I've dated an athlete or two or whatever. Like, I don't, it's not, and at the same time, I'm not going to be out here like dropping names, because I also feel like that's really tacky. But some chicks do that shit. Like,
spilling tea.
Oh yeah, I used to be with
pillow
this
talking.
Like, is that cute though? Because does that make a man want you if you were like, oh yeah, I used to date Michael Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that I think the type of person that would be attracted to that is weird.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah,
personally.
I don't think I've ever, like, if a woman told me like, oh, I miss with so and so, I don't think that will like make me more inclined to want to talk to her.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'd be the opposite.
Exactly. But there be people out here, but like I said, push it back out into the river and just let it keep on flowing. I'm not going to stop you. I'm also not going to tear down whatever works for you. Yeah. Because there's oh my God. Look, we're going to get into a whole nother conversation.
God damn it.
So I'm going to share this one last thing. Just because it came up, and I'm gonna forget if I don't talk on it. That bourbon is kicking in. If y'all don't know, I got a little cup that's hidden behind Miss Top Shelf Lady over here, because I came from another meeting that was in regards to the bourbon and cigar. Straight Talk No Chaser. Yes, I'm gonna be doing some stuff with those guys. Dope. And it's all about like cigars and bourbon and whiskey and stuff like that. So we were down at Uptown 51 chopping it up with those guys, and
got you a cup of bourbon,
had a drink, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna rush this because it's good whiskey.
It's kicking in.
Don't chug it. Yeah, it's kicking in. That's why I'm like talking shit now. And another thing. Now I'm all like,
all right, now we ready to pod.
Y'all about to catch this 4th Street.
Oh my God.
Wait. No, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell this one last thing.
Yes.
Hinge. It's a dating app, right?
Hinge.
Okay, so I was talking to this guy on Hinge, and we were having I think it's important for you to have a little bit of dialogue, because if people are just like, okay, let's get straight to the number, like they're just fishing.
Oh yeah.
Don't get fished, and this is for men and women. Take a little time to talk to someone, because they might be batshit crazy. If they're like real quick,
yeah,
they could be crazy, or they could be a hoe, or they could be scamming you. You gotta be careful out here, and everybody has to protect themselves, like men and women. Dudes out here get robbed by chicks, and they might, whatever. Anyways, the point that I'm making is I was having conversation.
Yes.
I've had enough time to have conversation with this dude.
Yeah.
And then eventually he just came out and said like, hey, so I just want to let you know he was like in this type of kink society. So he was a dom who was looking for subs. I'm talking like that whole S&M.
Oh,
50
the
Shades
whole
of
nine.
Grey. That.
Ooh, he
but
was into that shit.
bro was like, he was so straight up and like clear about it, and he was like, he used some words, like they have like terminology like, oh well, we're all about like safe kink and this and that and da. And I'm not knocking him because it's like he was appropriate in being upfront.
Right. Like, I'd rather you be upfront than not tell me at all. Later on, I find out this shit.
Man, especially in that situation.
That's why I move like that now. Like today, now I am like so upfront and clear with my intentions, because like if you just be upfront, and I believe giving people a choice.
Give people a choice. And here's the thing. He was so smooth about it. I was able to have a conversation with him about it.
See? And
I'm like, oh, well, that's not my thing, but since we're talking about it, how does that work? And we just had a conversation about it, and he was like, oh, well, there's something, and his whole thing was like spanking women, right? And he was just like, there's some women, we don't even have sex. It's like he has some subs, and he's like, some of them just come because it's like they get something out of it, or, it motivates them or fulfills some type of need or something. And it's like, hey, I like to get spanked too, but I'm not, you mean like no sex? Like that's not it.
So you just gonna spank me and I'm out?
Yeah, like
all right, so see you next weekend for your next spanking session.
That's not my thing, but I can imagine how that could be somebody's thing. You know what I'm saying? But but the point that I'm making is I spent enough time having a conversation with him, and he was upfront with me enough that we didn't have which would have been a very awkward interaction. I mean, like, could you imagine if we got to the point where it's like, oh, let's have dinner, or hey, why don't you come over and watch a movie? And I come over to watch a movie, and there's like chains and shit hanging on the fucking wall. So it's like,
right.
So it's also like take your time to get to know somebody, but also get to the point.
For sure. No, that's true. You're exactly right.
Because it's like, if we did, it could have been real disappointing for both of us. So
right.
I'm like, who is this woman in a cage in your living room? It's like, oh yeah, she's on a 24-hour session. You know what I mean? He goes in there like rattling some bitch's cage, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Do you need help? Blink, bitch. I'm like, I swear to God, if I opened the door and I saw that shit, I would keep one foot in the door and be like, so I gotta I think I got a pop quiz. I'm not even in school. But I got a project, dude.
I got any excuse to get the fuck out of there.
What was that? Explosive diarrhea? Yeah, I gotta go. It's just a side effect. I took one of them Propecia pills. I gotta get out of here right now. Like right now, but like yesterday.
Oh man. You gotta be on front with people nowadays.
Keep it real.
Because people ain't got the time.
Nobody got the time.
Like come on, like what did you on, man? What did you want?
Figure out what you want and figure out what say you want. It out loud.
That's it.
Manifest it.
Right.
Manifest what you want. And that's in love, that's in life, that's in whatever your creative outlets, whatever your career is, but also keep it real with yourself.
Yep.
Not everybody's going to be a millionaire. Not everybody's going to be, you know what I'm saying? You got to find the simple things you love in your life. Like, I like olives.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? I keep olives in my fridge because I like them.
Hey.
And that's a little moment. And it really comes down to like the dopamine release. Figure out what those things are.
Yeah.
If that's breathing, if that's chocolate chip cookies, if that's working out. And at the same time, when you talk about like body positive and stuff like that, don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh man, I ate a whole box of donuts. Did it feel good? But did it feel good though? You did the right thing.
Cleaned a dozen donuts.
Clean them up. But you feel good. And if you celebrate that and be like, that was an achievement. Right? Own it. Own it. And if you
ate them, so what?
Hey, and if you do it every day, then jog. If you jog and eat a box of donuts every day, you will be a happy fucking person.
You balance it out.
Right. And you'll be fit thick.
Alright, I'm still fluffy because I'm just balancing it out.
Right, but I got endurance like a mug.
Exactly. You're like, damn, how is you going that hard? Balance, my G. Balance.
Balance and donuts.
She asked me when she got here, you ever tried bourbon? I was like, no.
Yeah, bro, we gotta get you on some bourbon. You know what? We might have to do like
it's a
crossover.
It's a lot I need to experience in my life.
I'm you know what? Bring me back here. I'm gonna bring
Part
you
two.
something to taste.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like we gotta mature your.
Yeah, I'm late to
palate.
a lot of shit. I'm late.
It's
I'm
okay.
gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
And you know what? That's all right too. You're not late.
It's a first time for everything.
But you're not late. You're on your time.
That's real.
Right.
That makes me feel better about myself.
See?
Because my boys back at Philly always talk shit about me.
That's just like running with donuts.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Do you feel good? But do you feel good? And
Right.
I'm pretty sure your liver's got a way more mileage than a lot of us. Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not all liquor infused.
Right.
I'll take it. All right. We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna be talking till tomorrow.
I know, right? Going on 3 hours, goddammit. Okay. All right. Damn, what okay, so you got your questions.
Yeah.
Got the questions. Don't read them. Don't say it. Close the book.
I'm not gonna read it. I have to finish this one last sentence.
Oh, okay. Yes. Go ahead, finish that sentence. Once again, if you enjoyed this episode with Felicia, aka FDZ, make sure you go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, share. Let them know again where they can find you at, follow you, cop some work, anything that you want people to know. Go ahead and plug away.
All right, so make sure that you guys follow me on FDZ Graffiti at Instagram FDZG. Just put those 4 letters in. You'll find me. I'm Felicia D, FDZ Graffiti. Turn on notifications so that you guys can see any of my upcoming events, because there's a lot of them. I don't remember them all, I'll be honest with you. I can only tell you what's happening in the next couple weeks, but I'm definitely going to be doing a pop-up in October. I'm going to be launching my fashion line. I just got confirmation that I'm going to be in Columbus Fashion Week, passport to fashion. I'm so excited about that. And so you guys, turn on notifications. I promise if you do, it's not going to be anything whack. It's going to be all good stuff. It's going to be all good time, and all these events that I'm going to be hosting. I'm also open to doing anything with you guys. I'm all about collaborating. If you have a podcast, reach out. If you have a mural project, reach out. If you have any kind of like custom designs, I custom paint everything from guns to shoes to coats to cars to motorcycles to assault rifles. I painted all of that stuff. So just holler at your girl, like don't be shy. What else is there? So there's the events, there's the services, there's the upcoming stuff, and remember to check in within. Like, check yourself. Literally check yourself before you wreck yourself or you wreck somebody else. Boom.
Such a beautiful note to leave on. Could have said it better myself. I love it. Strike mic type shit right there.
Can I drop this mic? I'm gonna take it.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you next time on an episode of Cloth Talk Podcast. Peace. Goodbye.
Hey.